how we involve learners in singing and playing of percussion instruments. Okay, so basically this unit will explain the definition and necessity of music theory, demonstrate how to involve learners in melodious activities using different materials and techniques, how to foster a liking for singing and playing of various handmade and fabricated percussion instruments, and lastly discuss the positive and negative effects of listening to music and explain how loud noise in urban areas is regarded as noise pollution. This unit, again, it's a very logical unit. If you read through your study guide, you should not have any trouble answering questions in the exam. Okay, because you can apply it directly to your life. So broad outline of the points. Okay, so it goes from 2.1 to 2.11. Now we'll move on to what is music theory. Understanding music theory means knowing the language of music. Learning to read music is almost exactly like learning a new language, to the point where a fluent person can hear a musical conversation when reading a piece of sheet music. Okay, I think this probably sounds easier than it is done, and it takes a lot of years of practicing to understand music theory. When you use it in your class, the necessity to go deeply into music theory is not as important. What's more important is to expose your learners to different types of music and to work with the benefits of the music. So in general, music theory tries to explain rhythm, harmony, and melody. Okay, rhythm is basically when and for how long musical events happen. It is the duration of the notes and the slowing or speeding of the tempo during a song. So here we see some of the musical elements mentioned. Harmony is how the notes are combined. In other words, the keys, the chords, and the chord progressions. And the melody is a group of notes played one after the other. It is the element that most people remember after hearing a song. Okay, so the melody is normally the one that stays in your mind after hearing this. Okay, we're going to move over to the genres of music. Basically, the word genres means different types or categories, and you get the same with drama. You get different genres of music and different genres of drama. So the explanation they gave in your study guide is that the term music genre is used to refer to a variety of facets of music, including the period during which a musical composition was written, the style, its instrumentation, its form and function, and its means of transmission. These sounds like big words. Make sure you understand what they mean. We move on to how to involve the learners in melodious activities. In other words, how can we get learners to get more involved in music? Teaching primary learners about music, and that they understand that music is a universal language. It goes over all boundaries. Music is often used as a way to express creative energy by its creators. It even has the power to provide enlightenment, provoke anger, or lift the spirits of the listeners. So in other words, music can be a very powerful thing. We have to keep that in mind. All right. We continue. When we teach our learners, we try to use a variety of dynamic methods to teach primary school learners the value of music. Some examples that they give here is with the little ones, start with basic concept mastery. In other words, don't start with a very difficult type of music when you teach your learners. Introduce the learners of a variety of musical styles and instruments. In other words, you can play them maybe classical music, and then you can play them some African music, maybe some Spanish music. Let them hear the different styles to get them to know that there is a variety. You can show them different instruments that can be used to make music. Provide consistent support and encouragement to learners, and add excitement to each lesson. When working with very small children, it's important to have a lot of energy to keep their attention on whatever is going on. Okay. All right, moving on to 2.3. This one is how to teach learners to sing various songs relevant to the pre-primary phase. So it's important that the following steps be taken so that the child will learn actual vocal techniques while doing nothing to damage their vocal instruments. What we mean with vocal instruments is the vocal cords. Okay, so here are some guidelines that you can use. Also in your study guide, have a look at them, make sure you understand. There is a description of each of these in your study guide. Begin each lesson with some stretches and posture exercises, just to warm up. Work on simple breathing techniques. Breathing is very important. When you watch somebody sing, you will see they have a specific way of breathing. And they do that so that they sing to their best. Okay. Many people sing through their noses. Most people should sing by using the stomach and breathing techniques. Introduce registers. Begin ear training. This can also just be done through listening. Teach the scales. Teach intervals. Begin working on vowels. Work on focused tone and open throat. Begin learning songs and give performance opportunities. One of the most effective ways of this that I have experienced recently was a teacher who plays the piano at school, and they have a microphone in the hall, and he was playing and he took his class to the hall. Nobody else was there, just him and his class, and he gave each learner a chance to sing a song over the microphone. And the effect it had on these children to hear their own voices over a microphone was incredibly powerful. That is one example of how you can inspire learners to appreciate music and to learn through music. Okay, suitable music for the use in primary settings is that we have to be very careful as teachers. We have to think, what type of music will we use with our learners? We need culturally appropriate music that is excellent in its own genre. Good music that even adults will like. Okay. A very extreme example, you're not going to teach pre-primary learners heavy metal music. Okay, that would not be appropriate. So make sure that you use songs that tell a story, maybe about their own culture or other cultures in the country. Songs about other cultures in other worlds. Songs' meaning needs to be as clear as possible for learners. And of course, very logically, consider their age. Okay. So how to involve the learners in body percussion? Body percussion is a very exciting thing to do with learners. It's a wonderful exercise. Body percussion may be performed on its own or as an accompaniment to song. The folk traditions of many countries include the use of body percussion. Traditionally, 4 main body percussion sounds in order from lowest pitch to highest in pitch are stomp, which means you are stamping your feet against the floor on a resonant surface. In other words, the best way to use is maybe a wooden floor. Most stages are as wooden floors, so it can have a very nice sound when you are stomping. Patting either the left, right or both thighs with the hands, clapping hands together, click, snapping, clicking with the thumb and middle fingers. And here you can even use clicking of the tongue. The entire body is a musical instrument and one can use it. Be creative, think of new things to do. 2.6 is natural and fabricated percussion instruments. Percussion always has to do with beats, so it's not a difficult word, just remember it has to do with some kind of beat. Hand percussion is a term used to indicate a percussion instrument of any type from any culture that is held in the hand. They can be made from wood, metal or plastic and are usually shaken, scraped or tapped with the fingers or a stick. Okay, so some examples that they have is just what they call a shaker, is an instrument that makes a noise when shaken. A rain stick is sometimes really responsible for the rain if you shake it long enough and also believe in it. I want to encourage you as student to go onto the internet, go and find out what type of instruments you can make yourself. Musical instruments are extremely expensive, but there are so many ways that we can use sources from around us, picking up 2 sticks of wood and tapping that onto each other. You're making a noise. Using cans. We must use what we have around us. There's no need to waste a lot of money on instruments. All right. Other types of percussion instruments are scrapers. This can be a wood, metal or plastic instrument which has ridges on its body. In other words, here you would probably take 1 stick and you scrape it across the piece of wood and it makes a sound. A water drum, there is probably no other plant to be used as in so many ways as a pumpkin. So a water drum can be made by a pumpkin. Again, these are the uses of natural instruments. All right, 2.7 is when we look at self-made percussion instruments. The percussion family is the largest in the orchestra. Percussion instruments include any instrument that makes sound when it is hit, shaken or scraped, as we just discussed. You will see in your study guide there are many places where many things repeat. Just make sure that whatever you read is related to the learning outcomes in your books. Some examples that they give or ideas that they give for self-made percussion instrument is to play drums with sticks, drums without sticks, handheld cymbals. In other words, drums, you can make drums. We will shortly discuss how you can make a drum, homemade drum. Drums without the sticks, if you think of a djembe drum, that is also made here and in Africa, where you play with your hands on it, and handheld cymbals, which one can also make from objects found around you. So we look at how to make homemade instruments. The first one is a drum. They give a few examples in the study guide. I have put everything here, but it's very logical. If you think about a big aluminium coffee can, I'm thinking about the big Rick coffee can. You can clean the coffee can, take the lid off, make sure that it's nice and clean. Then you can put a piece of felt over the coffee can. Use a nice rope or elastic to make it tight. around the drum, and then you basically have the body of the drum ready. The mallets, those are the two sticks that you hold in your hand. Okay, this can make you can make this by using two sticks. Put two rubber balls on the end of them, and then you can use that to strike on the felt to make the sound. The paper plate shaker is also a very simple percussion instrument that can be made by sealing some beans into a plate. Begin by placing the small handful of dried beans onto the center of the plate. This is a paper plate. You fold the paper plate then in half, keeping the beans from falling out. So, in other words, you fold it over onto itself so that it forms a half moon with the beans sealed inside. You can staple the edges of the plate so it forms a half moon. Then you can decorate it in any way you like. The last one is the jingle bell tambourine. Here you can take a plastic plate and punch holes all around the edges. Make about 6 or 7 holes spaced equally from each other. You can use 2 plates if it's a very thin plate. You string some twist ties of jingle bells. You buy these bells in the shops everywhere. For tambourines, you'll need many jingle bells and twist ties as you have holes. So there will be a little bell affixed to each of the holes that you have punched into the plate. So this one you can shake and it will make a nice bell song. All right, how to teach songs to young learners. Music is a great tool to use in the classroom for young learners who are developing language skills. But what's the best way to introduce new songs to them? There are a few suggestions. The first one that they give in the study guide is to introduce songs as background music first. An example that I can think of at the moment is to play some songs in the background while you are maybe busy doing an art project, just so the learners can hear a little bit of music as it also relaxes them. Input becomes before output. In other words, learners have to learn the words of the song. It goes together with repeating songs over and over again. Some of the songs you don't need much pre-teaching. Some songs do need pre-teaching, and using visual aids is good and repetition is good. So if a song, I'm immediately thinking of the song, The Wheels of the Bus Go Round and Round. There are some excellent videos that you can find on YouTube with all these songs, with visual aids, helping learners to remember what they learn. Okay. Lastly, we will look at the positive and negative effects of listening to music. So we have 2 sides here. As with everything in the world, there's always something positive and always something negative. So the positive effects of listening to music is that it can speed up the recovery process of patients, it enhances creativity, it can improve task performance, it can facilitate the recall of information, it improves concentration and attention, it improves athletics performance, it reduces stress and aids relaxation. One example I can use that I've experienced in my classes, I do have a learner who struggles to work. However, if I put on music in the background that has a nice beat or rhythm to it, I have no problem with that learner participating in the work that we need to do. So for him, it's important to have some kind of beat. It gives him structure. It helps him to learn better. That's just one example. The negative effects of listening to music is called noise pollution. which may disturb the activity of balance of human or animal life. High noise levels can contribute to cardiovascular effects in humans, in other words, a rise in blood pressure and increase in stress. It negatively affects both health and behavior, and it can cause annoyance and aggression, hypertension, high stress levels, tinnitus, hearing loss, and sleep disturbances. Of course, the type of music that you use will tell you if it has positive effect on you or a negative effect on you. All right, so that's basically the end of Unit 2. Again, I want to encourage you to read through. There's not enough time to go into detail on each and everything of these. And most importantly, apply what you read in real life. I thank you very much and good luck.